Hello and welcome back to Week 10 of the Hearthstone Global Games. I'm Falcone, joined once again by APAC Dad.
I got a new name.
Yeah, I like it.
I'm happy.
Gonna just try and use that as much as
It's
possible.
not even Grandad for once, so I'll take it.
Next up, it's going to be Taiwan versus Turkey. And this is where it gets... It's where it could get a little bit messy, but this group's actually very straightforward, as we'll just have a quick look at Group G now. Every group still has a game to play.
Yep.
But it's very, very simple. Like this game, Taiwan versus Turkey, they're both 2-2. The team that gets 3 wins is going to go through.
Right, and that's the way it's working out all the way down the line. Poland are playing Singapore, so thankfully for the worky outiness, it all just works out that the people that progress are the teams that win. Winning the group will be messier than that, but basically whoever wins by the most is probably going to do quite well. And Mexico play Vietnam. That'll be with Robert and Cora in a couple of days' time. Mexico can just outright win the group if they win that game.
But yeah, as you put it earlier, like win and in, lose and out. That's the case for this game, Taiwan versus Turkey, Poland versus Singapore later today. And as you said, like Mexico already got their 3 wins. But it's funny how that's how this group works out, where all you have to do is get 3 wins and then you're through. Whereas the other groups, it's much more complicated than that.
Yeah, round robin can be a cruel format sometimes. Argentina sitting there waiting on 3 wins with a decent game difference. They could still end up not qualifying, and we've just seen the Philippines go through on 2 and 3 in theirs. But it's all about who you beat, when you beat them, and being better than the other teams the way your group develops.
Well, let's take a look at the players coming up in this game for Taiwan. Tom, 60229, Pimpin Ho, AQ, how do you say that? A what?
Just call him Roger because his team is AHQ, so.
Right, Roger and Malagos.
Yeah, Malagos, whose name is always written in Taiwanese and confuses the heck out of me. But here it is written as Malagos, and that helps me substantially, as I'm sure that the language is Chinese.
On the other side of things, Stop It Blizz, Thunder Up, Roll, and Berserky. Berserk G. I always get that wrong.
Yes, I knew you were going to get it wrong, and I waited for it.
It's okay, you reminded me already. I apologise, Berserk G.
We were told on Twitter last week we would not to get it wrong, and we promised we'd never get it wrong again.
I promised that. It's my mistake.
So we got it wrong straight away. Look at this beautiful scene. I don't know how many times I've said the word beautiful regarding all these through the Hearthstone Global Games, but it's a lot of times. All of these countries. We live in the UK. Everywhere looks beautiful.
Yeah. It's just incomparable, isn't it? We give such a bad impression of our country. It's probably,
do we?
It's probably not as bad as we actually make it out to be, but in our opinion, it very much is.
And all taxi drivers sound like casters.
Do they?
Yeah, they don't stop talking and you don't know what they're on about.
Fair enough. Let's take a look at the games that are coming up in this first series today. It's going to be, of course, reminder, this is the special Hearthstone Global Games tournament format, which you're probably used to by now, but if you're not, it's best out of 5. The 9 classes are distributed between the 4 players. If we get to game number 5, then class number 9 comes into action, the Ace class, and one of the players on each team gets to play a second time. The sequence in which the players are playing is predetermined. They decide that in advance, and which classes they've got, and now it's a blind pick, so Pimping Ho's going to have to decide between Shaman and Priest versus Rolls, Druid or Shaman. He's going to have to decide which deck he wants to play against Pimping Ho's decks.
And this is a little bit harsh on Tom, but I think Pimping Ho is likely the most experienced player in Taiwan, and Roll is the most experienced player for Turkey, and they're both leading the way here. Pimping Ho recently won the Japan Major, going 11-0 along the way. And before somebody out there in chat, because one of you will, says about, oh, just APAC things, there were Western players in that tournament as well.
Yeah. Roll, on the other hand, was competed in the 2016 Winter and Summer prelims. And you were talking about this earlier today, like just getting into prelims is a big deal. Only the top so many players do get to take part. So it doesn't matter if it's this year, last year, whenever. Like he's gotten to the stage of the competition where the competition is at its very hardest. So
yeah, last year he had a positive record as well, 7-6 in prelims overall. So
against the best
players in the world. So not bad going at all there from Roll, a player we definitely underestimated at the start of this event. And I think every caster, myself included, overlooked him. I think we've apologised enough, but I'll apologise one more time. Sorry, Roll.
Sorry, Roll, but now you can prove yourself in the Hearthstone Global Games. It's going to be him on the Druid versus Pimpin Ho on the Shaman. Now, I'm expecting this to be just based on what we've kind of seen recently, I'm expecting it to be aggressive Druid versus aggressive Shaman.
Right.
Which do you think is favoured in that matchup? It's really hard.
It's weird, right? Because the Shaman, if it just gets that board going early, just can't be beaten. But just occasionally the Druid can just roll it over. I think I prefer the Shaman personally, but I don't think that's necessarily the prevailing opinion.
The thing is, I don't think Shaman can deal with a turn 1 Vicious Fledgling.
Right.
I think it's one of those classes that struggles unless there's...
Unlike all those other classes that just wipe it off the board.
Wow, okay, that's fair. That's fair.
But yeah, I mean, the Druid can definitely do well in that matchup. I just think that the Shaman has more ways of populating the board earlier, especially now Druid's slowed down that little tiny bit.
The other thing, of course, is that Jade Druid is a possibility. And again, harkening back to Star Ladder last weekend, I believe Jade Druid was the most banned deck in the tournament.
Not surprised from the things you've already told me about it, like with all the control decks that were there. Jade Druid, the control destroyer, it's just one of the most one-sided things when Jade Druid gets its hands on those control decks, so getting banned out of sight seems to be a thing. And yeah, the tournament meta across the world right now does seem to be a control one.
There we go. It's actually going to be the Jade Druid, but still the aggressive Shaman. So... Right, so Jade Druid struggle with board clears until they get to that turn 8 Primordial Drake, and that's the big problem for them in this matchup. If Pimpinho's able to just get a big board going, maybe if he can get the Doppelgangster Evolve going off in turn 6, then Roll is going to struggle to keep up with that.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to keep the Wrath in this opening hand just for that. He may keep the Jade Idol to make his other stuff bigger because the 1/1 itself isn't useful, but he's actually going to go look for even more stuff. He's looking for the likes of Feral Rage, he's looking for Swipe, he's looking for the second Wrath. Probably looking for some ramp as well, although sometimes if you do get Wrath into Feral, you don't necessarily want to ramp until a little bit later anyway. You just want to keep clearing stuff off the board until your opponent has a suboptimal turn and then you ramp.
Gluttonous Ooze can do things in this match. It can get rid of a J-Claws, and that's about it. Probably not quite what you put it in the deck for, but it's better than doing nothing.
All right, so Roll's going to be able to deal with the first 2 scary totems that come down. And he also, like you say, has that Gluttonous Ooze to put something on the board. He's not going to be able to start building his own board, his own Jades for some time, but he is going to be able to withstand any early nonsense that may occur. So this is nice for him because he hasn't got to worry too much about the Flame Tongue because he has the Wrath in hand. We might just see him hero power here and take down the patches. This is where you would love to have a Wild Growth and just chill for a turn.
I think it's looking much nicer for Roll regardless than it is for Pimpinho here. This Pimpinho just now has nothing to play. He has Thing from Below with no totems been played yet, obviously, but there's the pickup that he wanted. Primal Fin Totem, exactly what you need. Yeah, okay, there is a Wrath that deals with it, but then when Flame Tongue Totem or Mana Tide Totem gets picked up, then the Wrath's not going to be there to deal with those.
Yeah, most likely to see it get Wrathed away. There will be a consideration to Feral Raging it away so that you can keep the Wrath for Cycle and for other minions, but the problem is then you can't deal with Thing from Below, whereas Feral Rage Hero Power can, and so we'll probably see him want to Wrath this. And if he does that, then he'll just chuck down the Jade Idol to start those Jades ramping up.
Means playing off curve again, though. Well, not again. It will be the first turn he's done it. I guess you could play Jade Idol as well. Wrath, Jade Idol.
So he now needs to work out how the Fandral affects his previous hand. It works in conjunction with 3 of the cards in his hand. Jade Idol not really relevant because you don't want to populate your deck with Jade Idols this early on. The Feral Rage, however, is very relevant. Gaining the 8 armor and killing something could be very important, but also is the Wrath important because killing a minion and drawing a card in a deck that does need to keep drawing its removal to not die in this matchup is also important. So
I think the card draw is probably more important, in which case I like this Feral Rage a lot, just using that to take down the Primal Fin Totem instead.
And the Fandral into Wrath, I mean, he may have to just play the Fandral next turn and hope it doesn't get killed, but also Fandral into Wrath is 1 mana cheaper to pull off, and turn 7's a long way away right now.
Pimpinho picking up his curve nicely. Bloodsail Corsair plus Hero Power will make up for turn 3, and then turn 4 can just be Thing from Below. Looked for a second like he was going to hold on to that, but no, I like playing it. I like going as wide as possible.
Yeah, just getting the 1/2s on the board because they can't be swiped. Well, they can, but they don't die. And
hey, if Roll does swipe this board, then Pimpinho doesn't really care.
Right.
Innovate. Ooh, okay.
Okay, so when do you choose to wrath things here? With a hand like this, might just see it happen immediately. Just take down a minion, but you just see if it sticks. Have you got your Flame Tongue? You have not.
You do have a devolve, though.
Do have a devolve.
Is it worth it? Is the big question. You think it is?
They've got to evaluate whether they think Fandral can affect it, but turn 5 Nourish with a Fandral on the board is so devastating that you can't let the Fandral live. There's no way of killing it off, other than like coin Bloodlust would be ludicrous, but I guess for the sake of completion, say it's there. I think you do devolve this, and just not really care about what the 3 drop is. It comes up a random 3/3, you just ignore it and start hitting the face again.
Roll definitely opted to take a huge risk here just by playing that without playing the Wrath, because there is the chance that, as you said several times, just Flame Tongue Totem would just deal with it, but his Gambit's paid off. There's no efficient way of dealing with it, and yeah, Pimpinho is going to have to play the devolve.
Okay, a 3/3 is about the expected outcome, I believe. There's a lot of them. It's almost certainly the median outcome. And now Pimpinho probably just choose to ignore it. I don't think he'd give up his whole board. Why would you? Just hit some face. What if he'll play the Flame Elemental as well? Why not just set up a huge Bloodlust?
Sure. Well, trading into it just feels pointless when the whole point of your deck is to go as wide as possible.
And it's a good job he did the devolve, because otherwise Nourish into stuff is an absolutely massive turn. It would have been Nourish,
Wrath, Innovate.
Wrath, whatever comes off the Nourish with the Innovate still in hand, exactly. It would have been crazy. And good job that they did that.
Even if Ro had a Primordial Drake in his hand, he's one turn off being able to use it. How much damage is this Bloodlust right now?
Well, the 3/3 is always going to take out the Taunt Totem.
So it's 20. It's 20 then.
And he's always going to take out a 1/1 with a hero power, even if he has to Nourish. It's a case of whether he decides to play the Gluttonous Ooze. First of all, he's got to decide whether he wants to Innovate. I don't see why he wouldn't. He's in a hurry, and Innovate's good at doing things in a hurry.
Well, the reason you wouldn't is to play to your Primordial Drake out next turn.
Sure. That's a good call on why you wouldn't. So you might Nourish first and see where you stand. If you're going to draw the cards, I assume you're going to draw the cards because you have Innovate in hand. Got to do it now. If you're going to Nourish, you're going to do it now and have a plan.
I think that's it. He knows that Bloodlust isn't lethal. It's only 20 damage. He's actually going to play it even safer, though. Going to Hero Power down to 1/1. Wrath, one of the 1/2s. Actually deal 3 damage to it, not get a card draw.
Yeah, I think the Nourish helped in that decision. And yeah, just going to get some stuff down. Getting this Jade Idol played, not because of this Jade Idol's any use, but because now the next one at least can challenge boards.
This actually works out very nicely. I think Bloodlust deals significantly less damage. It's not much of a threatening board at all. Yeah, I really, really like that play from Roll there.
From this turn onwards, though, the reason Roll is looking so pensive is that Doppelgangster into Evolve loses him the game.
Yep.
With an average, as Stotter would say, of 30 stats.
It's nasty.
It's a lot of stats.
That really is a lot of stats for 6 mana.
So, and it's only a 2-card combo. That's why it's so popular. All right, but Pimpinho doesn't have any of those nice available options. He's having to go with good old-fashioned thing from below. Again, trying to set up that huge Bloodlust going into next turn. However, this time, Roll has no answers in hand currently.
If he picks up the Primordial Drake here again, then it's completely huge. He clears up everything, but I think it's only Primordial Drake that does anything to stop this board.
Making a little trade there to make sure the thing from below can't be killed by the 3/3 plus the 1 attack minion plus the face.
27 damage on board right now from Pimpinho with the Bloodlust as well.
That's a lot of damage. All right, Roll's got to draw cards. There's nothing else he can do. See if he picks up any sort of answers. That's not one. That's not one now. Nope.
That's going to be the end of the game, as Roll has no way that he can prevent this damage.
Yeah, and that's quite a medium sort of draw from Taiwan there.
Earthen Scales, Innovate, Hero Power, get rid of the thing from below. Does that actually do enough? I don't think it does.
9 plus 18, 27. The Earthen Scales doesn't quite do it. You can only get Earthen Scales friendly minions.
Yeah.
Something I'd like to see done on an opposing minion sometime.
Well, the irony here is that if he was to Earthen Scales the thing from below, then he wouldn't be able to kill it anyway. So even if it could hit opposing minions...
Remember, though, Roll doesn't know that Bloodlust is in the opposing hand. He knows it's a strong possibility. He's looking worried. He knows he could lose to it. He's got to make the best play based on the fact that it doesn't happen.
He doesn't know, but he knows. Yeah, just having to earthen scales here. Oh!
So he has to save the Innovate for a potential Primordial Drake, and that play makes a lot of sense, but doesn't make any sense when you're sat from Taiwan's side. Ping Ping Ho is just going to come in for 1 million damage. Roll is completely and utterly unsurprised, and Taiwan take a 1-0 lead.
I'm sure Roll did the maths like we did. He worked out that even if he is to make the best possible play against the Bloodlust, if he earthen scales, if he trades away the thing from below, it's still not enough to survive that. So he did, as you said, pretended Bloodlust doesn't exist, made the best possible play if it's not there, and unfortunately for him, it was there. Ping Ping Ho looking very happy about the first win of this series.
And so he should be. That's one step closer to qualifying for stage 2 of the event. Wow, Roll just never really getting into that one. And that's just the power of that Shaman deck. It didn't really get a terrific, like, nonsensical start with Primal Fins and such like, and still just overran by turn 6.
Still just steamrolled him.
So we're going to have a look at what we got for game 2 for you. It's going to be Roger on the Warrior with Thunder Up on the Mage.
So, Warrior versus Mage. Now, this is one that I know that you've seen a little bit of recently as well. Well, specifically, the Quest Warrior versus Mage. You watched Kalento play it. I remember you saying something to me on Skype about the
mainly
the
against the Rogue decks. He was playing against a lot of Rogues last night, and the Quest Warrior was finding ways against Rogue. Didn't see too much Mage last night.
I thought you said something about him keeping the quest.
Oh, about keeping the quest, yes. So, this has been an ongoing debate with you, with Sodhal, with myself throughout this tournament.
Yep.
And basically, Kalento, his opinion was that he didn't want to usually keep the quest, but his hand was Quest, War Axe, and Stonehill Defender, so he kept it because what are you looking for by throwing it away? And so his view is very much that you keep it sometimes, but he did give the impression, and Kalento tends to talk in impressions, that he wouldn't have kept it for the large part.
Yeah, I feel as though the vast majority of the time we've seen it kept in the Hearthstone Global games,
we have.
and we as casters haven't been sure about it. But we've kind of had to get to the point where it's like, well, all of the players are doing it, let's just follow by their lead. But Kalento maybe giving us some hope that maybe we were right.
We cast a game last week, the Romania game, where Romania kept it, and they completed the quest. I think Sophia was still in their hand when they won the game.
Ah.
So that was kind of awkward. But yeah, it's an ongoing debate whether you keep it or whether you don't against Unknown Mage.
Not going to be any quests here, as Unknown Warrior ended up being Pirate Warrior, the first one we're going to have seen today. Not the most popular warrior at the moment, but still one that can pack one heck of a punch.
Yeah, good quest this for Warrior. Do 30 damage as quickly as possible.
Right, okay, yeah, that's the quest.
That's the quest. The ongoing quest to annoy people by hitting them in the face. Reward, win the game. Go to Hearthstone Global Games second round.
Yeah.
Nearly.
That's pretty much it. Taiwan, 1 win up this series so far. They need to take the series. Last series, we saw Philippines take it quite easily. They got a 3-1 win. Roger, going to want to make this 2-0.
Yeah, I'm surprised that none of us picked Taiwan actually as one of the Dark Horse teams. They are definitely a powerful outfit here. A lot of experience in their team. Whereas, again, Turkey have had our infinite apologies for overlooking them over and over again with a team of a very solid lineup.
Well, speaking of solid, both of these opening hands look good, but Roger going first there. Got the N'Zoth's first mate into patches. That's never what you like to see when you're playing against Pirate Warrior.
Yeah, you don't want to see that. And Turkey now going to be flat out just trying to get as much stuff on the board as possible just to challenge it. The way you beat Pirate Warrior, other than by not taking 30 damage to your little face, is by challenging their board with your own minions, getting out wider than they are, and then just trading and trading away until they have no more stuff left. But you need to do that before you get down below about double figures, because otherwise they just start killing you with their charge minions.
One of the best things, I think, one of the best ways of knowing how to play against a deck is having played it a lot in the past. And I've actually got noted down here that Roger is a big Mage fan. Back in the Reno Mage days, he did hit rank 1 Legend with the deck.
Okay, that would help then. If you've done that and been there, done that, played against it a lot, or played with it a lot, like you say, you learn to play against it. Yeah. They're 3-1 with Mage in this tournament. They're 3-0 with Warrior in this tournament as well. Right. So if they know their Mages and their Warriors, that's a thing.
And he calls himself a legendary pro rogue player. So very versatile, obviously.
So it's Roger, not Roger.
It is Roger, yeah.
Okay, we'll go with that. That's the easiest way to remember stuff, is just to make it up in your head.
This guy has got, I believe, 58,000 followers on Twitch. So a lot of people like to watch him.
And I'm not surprised, but 58,000. You can see how animated he is there as well.
It's a big number. You need a big personality and a lot of skill to, I think, get that many followers on Twitch.
Okay. Taiwan hitting face. Why not?
Well, it's the place when you're playing Pirate Warrior. Thunder Up would love a secret on the board right now so that he can play this Medusa Valet. Actually bringing the quite uncommonly represented nowadays secret variant of the deck.
Yeah, secret mages come and gone sort of strangely in recent times, but definitely on the gone side of things at the moment for the large part, especially in this event. I'm not quite sure why. It is a little bit erratic. And I feel that Gunther Mage, people are starting to say, is more solid again, whereas originally I thought this was the less erratic version, personally. Depends how you want to build it, of course.
People just seem to think this version is less consistent, and the word I see a lot about Discover Mage is versatile. I guess that is what Discover is in Hearthstone.
Right.
Even though there's not too many Discovers in the deck, it is very versatile. You can grab a board clay, you can grab more burn damage, you can grab some taunts on the board, you can grab extra secrets, you can get whatever you want from these cards. It just has more ways of winning.
Interesting that Thunder Up here spent a lot of time that turn just counting away. And what you have to do against Pirates when you want to make a very value-orientated turn like that one is work out how much health am I going to go in 2 turns' time, because he's just passed up the chance to occupy the board.
Yeah.
And can I afford to wait? He's on 27. Nothing too brutal seems to be coming anytime soon. Got a bit of potential removal coming up, especially if he draws a secret. Playing maybe to his outs a little bit. If he draws a secret, he's in a good spot.
The other thing he's got set up for next turn is Sorcerer's Apprentice into Primordial Glyph if he doesn't get a secret, because then any 3-mana spell that he gets, he can play instantly, thanks to the Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Yeah, the capture would be something he didn't want to happen as well, obviously, there. But like you say, you can get the Sorcerer's Apprentice going now, and I feel like he's going to have to.
Any secret that he gets from this, he can play straight away. Frostbolt, even Flame Geyser would be okay here, but Frostbolt definitely looks like the strongest pick to me. I guess Ice Barrier is worth considering, but do you prefer to heal for 8 or get rid of the South Sea Cap?
Yeah, you get rid of 4 straight away from the Frostbolt, so that's half of your 8 covered before you start, and that makes a lot of sense. Definitely worth considering the Ice Barrier though, because it is 8 is more than 4, believe it or not, so you have to work out if you can definitely cover the other 4 later.
But the additional benefit of actually getting this minion off of the board, still having the Sorcerer's Apprentice there, I think it's I think it's a fairly straightforward decision.
I do agree.
Though, taking their time, Turkey obviously using as much of the time as they possibly can to talk through everything with each other. This is a team tournament, don't forget. The players are talking with communications on all throughout the games. But double South Sea Deckhand and Blood Cell Raider looks very solid from Roger there, and wasting no time at all. Just going to get on with it. Just going to keep smoking.
Right, and the fact that Frostbolt came off the glyph and was played instantly means they don't have to worry about maybe a blizzard coming from the glyph or something along those lines, so it does allow them to go all in. Just point out Thunder Up, in case you're wondering about the help he's getting for us. He was ranked 7 legend in January, so although he'd be taking the help, doesn't necessarily need it.
Yeah, he's the anchor for this team. It means that he had the most HCT points during the qualifying period. He was competing in winter prelims. He's a solid Hearthstone player with a lot of experience behind him.
There's the Blizzard. There's a Volcanic Potion as well. The Volcanic Potion doesn't seem to do a whole lot. Does the Blizzard do enough next turn, though? Probably not either.
I think Volcanic Potion's the pick. You've cleared 2 of the minions off of the board. You've still got 21 health. Thunder Up actually is in an okay position here. 21 health going into turn 5.
Yeah, he's going to be able to fireball the next minion that is played as well. And at that point, it will start to turn around. So Roger is going to need to draw into some more gas here, which is, of course, what Pirates do best.
Yep. Saucy Captain is pretty gassy.
I don't know. I've never really been on that ship.
it's going to come down here. And now, what's really important about this play as well is that it actually heals up the Blood Cell Raider even after the Captain dies. It goes from 1 back up to 2 health. Fireball clears up Saucy Captain, sure, but then the Raider becomes a 3-2 again, which means Thunder Up won't just be able to ping it off.
Cabal Lackey in the deck. This is a card that I favour. If you're going to play this deck, you might as well go all the way and put it in there. But in these situations, this is why a lot of people don't like the Lackey, because it just does almost nothing if you don't have the secrets later on. But imagine if you did have a secret in your hand now, it'd be fantastic.
Do you know what? I think it's fine this turn just as a 1-mana minion to squeeze into the curve. Yeah, it would be great if he could play a secret this turn as well. That would be a huge swing in the other direction. But this is going to have to do the trick just fine. It's going to eat up the hook charge. That upgrade seems like a pretty dead draw for Roger there. Yeah.
Turkey in a world of pain here, though. There's very little. There won't be an Extras in this. There won't be any health gain. There probably won't be an ice barrier. Used Glyph already.
There might be a block. And block, like Kirin Mage, block Medivh's Valet would be a great turn for him coming up.
It would, but he's got to rotate it also. He can kill Roger as well.
Yeah.
There might be a Yogg. That's a card that can sometimes do strange and wonderful things, but that's 5 turns away.
That means getting to turn 10 first.
Yeah, and you've got to draw all the other stuff so you don't die into the Yogg on turn 10, pretty much.
Mana Worm is not going to do anything. The way that I see it right now, Roger is going to be 2 damage off lethal next turn. And there are a lot of cards in this deck that deal 2 damage. He's looking pretty happy with himself.
Yeah, Roger looking like he knows that they're struggling here. And this would put them with 3 chances to get through.
It's nice to see him being very vocal with his team there. Thunder Up, look of deep concentration as he just slams everything he's got onto the board.
Yep, this will deal with the next board pretty well. If there is a next turn, and there will be.
Shatter, one of the best cards from Babbling Book. Kappa.
Yeah, my first ever, long story here, my first ever Cabalist Tome after Sottle and I spent ages telling people it was garbage. Streaming away, got Cabalist Tome, 3 shatters my first ever time I played it. After I'd moaned about it all day.
Oh man, the chances of that happening. You just really don't like random mage spells, do you?
It's not that, it's that random mage spells don't like me.
Okay, fair enough.
Right, so by going all face here, that means their Berserker's not going to stick to the board. That's important. They did have the option to maybe trade away the Kirin Tor, make the Berserker get big, and then make sure the board clears. But your pirate deck, and pirates like to hit you in the face, as well as steal all your booty.
That's going to allow Thunder Up to clear as well. They needed any playable spell, I think, to buff up the Mana Worm so that Medivh Ping could get rid of the Kor'kron, Mana Worm could get rid of the Raider, and the Kirin Tor Mage could get rid of the Frothing.
And this Fireball needs to go face, right?
I think it needs to go into the Kor'kron just to keep your minion alive. Because this way, the Mana Worm sticks to the board and is able to keep trading with whatever comes next.
Right. I'm just trying to work out how you do enough damage. I guess if you're trying to survive to Yogg turn.
Oh, okay. All right.
I mean, it was never really that relevant. But yeah, I was just thinking maybe get the 6 into the face, gives you more chance of killing them a turn earlier. But you do lose a minion. Doesn't matter. Roger saw it coming before we did. 2-0. And Taiwan in a fantastic position now. Turkey still have a chance, though. They just need to win 3 games in a row.
Yeah, and we've seen it in the previous series. We did just see Philippines win 3 games in a row. Right. It wasn't a reverse sweep. They'd only lost 1 game before that point. So I guess there wasn't as much pressure. But now, yeah, Turkey are going to have to start performing.
Yeah, and you say there wasn't much pressure, but obviously the Philippines in that interview saying how much these teams are feeling nervous at this stage.
Oh, of course.
And why not? I mean, they spend a lot of time, not only the time practicing, playtesting, playing, but the time sort of getting around town, getting to each other's houses. Yeah. That's a lot of emotional investment. Anyone who's ever supported a sporting team.
That was a lot of S's. I'm not surprised.
I'm not too bad with S's. There's worse. Anyone who's ever supported a sporting team will realise the emotional investment you get when it gets to the massive playoff games is just huge. Malygos on Hunter, Berserk G on Rogue. I haven't seen this for a while.
Now I'm surprised to see this. Honestly, when I saw that they were both bringing Rogue on Hunter, I thought we'd get a Hunter mirror. Because I feel as though Hunter is just quite strong against Rogue. And
but
neither
not
player
necessarily Miracle Rogue.
Okay. Well, that could be what the Rogue pick is a hint towards then.
Because the Rogue, in my opinion, is a very slight favourite against Hunter, whereas Hunter is 50-50 against Hunter.
Okay.
If it was Cavern Rogue, then the Hunter... I mean, we've seen some spectacular losses from the Hunter in that match where they refused to kill an elemental or something.
Right.
But anyone who's played it sensibly just tends to hit the Rogue in the face and they die from it. So I'd be very surprised if it's a Cavern Rogue, given that they had a 50-50 available to them.
That's interesting. We've seen a lot of Miracle Rogue popping up recently again last weekend. 2 of the top 8 players playing Miracle Rogue.
Right.
3 were playing Quest, so it wasn't a huge one-sided thing going on there. I don't know. I did expect to see a Hunter Mirror. You're right, though. Miracle Rogue could be the reason it wasn't, and it's kind of like almost a bait and switch type thing.
Yeah, Miracle Rogue's an interesting deck at the moment as well. There's just 2 distinct paths it can go. Anyone who doesn't follow Blister Guy on Twitter, follow him now. He did an incredible infographic of all of the Miracle Rogue variants out there, and he can say it better than I can, but I'm here to say it today. There are 2 different ways of doing it. You either top out at Leroy and hit them in the face, or you just make massive giants.
There's actually a third way. Oh, it's Caverns Rogue.
Right.
Okay, I'll get back to my third way later on if we do get Miracle Rogue today. But in the meantime, we're going to have to sit here and question why Berserk G would have picked this deck.
I mean...
It must be teched, right?
It could well be teched, or maybe he just didn't expect the pick of the Hunter. Yeah.
I don't know. That doesn't seem likely to me. Shadow Step pretty nice in any opening hand. The deck hand isn't terrible either if you just want to slam some stuff on the board.
Interesting. I mean, we have seen Hunters lose. I was talking earlier about the Igneous Elemental just not getting killed. But if you just kill it and move on with your life, you're usually fine. The times that Hunter can struggle is when it just ties itself up in knots trying to outthink itself.
Right.
And we've seen that from more than one good player, which is why I mention it.
Yeah, I guess one of the reasons that Berserk G may have just picked Rogue over the Hunter is because Rogue is just a better class than Hunter at the moment. Hunter, one of the least represented classes in the Starlight top 8 with only 1 player bringing it. So it could just be as simple as that. He believes that play the better deck.
Yeah. Well, let's see how it works out for him. At the moment, it's not going to work out for him too badly. He's 1 bounce away from an incredibly early completion.
Yeah, that's insane. If he can pick up another bounce and a preparation, then this may be the fastest Rogue quest complete that we've seen in a while.
The only downside is you don't really want to draw that patches from your deck so early. It can be okay. People will be like, well, why not? But why not? Because you'd rather draw a 5-5 out of your deck than a 1-1. Yeah.
Then again, if you're trying to contest for the board against an aggressive deck like Hunter, the 1-1 patches might be actually what you need to just stabilize a little bit. One thing Turkey may consider doing is just waiting and not even playing the first deck hand until the quest's going to be complete straight away, though that's quite a way away.
Given that you don't really want to be trading much in and you're not taking much of a beating, I think we will see Turkey potentially take their time here. A lot will depend on what they draw. As always.
The dream draws for them right now, the second Shadow Step in preparation, because that way they could just wait a few turns, and then I think on turn 4, just go. But they've drawn patches! What a disaster for Berserk G now.
Yeah, that is definitely not what you want. You hate to see that if you are a Turkish fan right now.
Punished for not playing the first South Sea deckhand. Oh dear.
Pretty awkward spot. And yeah, you mentioned that. I mean, obviously, a lot of the time you do hold back on the quest, but with the hand of deckhand, you had to play the quest on turn 1. So, puts Taiwan in a really good spot, Malygos here. Seems to remember he's called Malygos for the fairly obvious reason that his favourite card is Malygos. I think he was playing Malygos Druid back when I first encountered him.
Oh, really? Wow, Leroy from tracking. Suddenly this deck looks more aggressive than I had anticipated. It's going to be one of the faster Hunter decks.
Which is even worse news for Turkey.
Yeah.
Leroy hitting you in the face for 6 when you have no defense is bad news.
This might end up being the fastest, or one of the fastest series of the Hearthstone Global Games that we've seen. for quite some time. There's the second bouncer, though. Okay, so bad news is that they've picked up patches. Good news is that they now have what they need to complete the quest. And I don't see any reason to not just start going for it now.
Yeah, given they have 2 deck hands, they can take a little bit of damage off the board. I guess the reason to not go for it is you want to use the deck hand to do 2 damage to a 3-2 rather than a 1-2.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, you do get to put a Brewmaster on the board.
Exactly. I'm thinking the deck hand goes face, Brewmaster bounces it back, weapon gets rid of one of the beasts.
Which, by the way, makes the last weapon shot a little bit sketchy, because they're going to end up using 2 mana now to activate their deck hand at some point in this game.
Yeah.
Seeing a lot of players now when they play Cavern Rogue almost never use their weapon for this exact reason.
Alternatively, Berserk G could just hit the deck hand in, like dagger up again, hit the deck hand in, and then use the second one to complete the quest.
Right.
It's an option. I don't know if it's necessarily a good one. Going to actually dagger up and play patches, trade that into the 1-1. Okay, this makes sense too.
Okay, yeah, getting to use that extra 2 mana efficiently to start taking down these minions, but going to be Eaglehorn bow time, I feel, here. Usually you'd want to develop the raise more, but as you've got 2 bows to get through, I think you might as well just get on with it.
All right, well, Turkey, Berserk G, not roll, Berserk G definitely on the clock now. Gonna start playing these Southsea deckhands, bouncing them back. I like this, just play both, probably put them both back in the hand at the end of this turn. It's unfortunate that he's going to be 1 mana off of activating the quest next turn.
Be interested if he puts them both back or just one, just because there's the Bilefin now as a backup option, something you'd love to be able to bounce. But yeah, he is going to put them both back. Again, it makes a lot of sense.
He needs to pick, if he picks up Preparation this next turn.
Yes, suddenly the thing could go nuts here.
Then yeah, suddenly he pretty much just wins the game. Or even the second Shadow Step would be good enough, because then you play the deck hand, play the 0 mana deck hand, Shadow Step back, play it again, activate the quest. He just needs to generate 1 mana out of nowhere somehow.
Yeah, Leroy Jenkins not the best card if it doesn't kill you when it generates 2 5/5s for your opponent. But the damage is accumulating here.
Malago's still looking pretty happy with himself, though. He's not under any threat whatsoever just yet.
Yeah, I mean, without playing a card, just by pressing Hero Power and attacking face, he can put the opponents down to 14. Quest or no quest, and then there's, still Leroy in hand, and there's still Kill Command in hand.
Yep.
That's another 11 of that 14. There's another Eaglehorn bow. That's another 3.
Yeah. Even Unleash plus Crackling Razormaw is worth considering later. Just pop Poisonous on one of them, or pop extra attack on one of them, and deal a bunch of damage.
Yeah, the other thing that happens with Unleash, obviously, is eventually the Rogue starts going wide, and then that Unleash could do 4 or 5 and just get through that Tidehunter's taunty friend.
Yep.
Say summon a 1/1 taunty friend, I'm pretty sure.
I think it's just an ooze, isn't it?
I think it is.
Or is that slime? It's a slime or an ooze.
It's not the same stuff.
What's the difference?
Slimy and oozy to me. All right, clearing up the board. This is another thing you can do against the Rogue, of course. Every time you kill a minion before the quest is complete, you're killing a 5/5, but you're killing it cheaply.
Oh, okay, so Taiwan just going to go ahead and develop the board instead. Doomsayer, I said that I wondered if this deck might be teched for aggro. Doomsayer is sort of a nod in that direction. I don't think it's enough here, though.
Yeah, I haven't seen so many Doomsayers and such like recently, like the slower cards. So there was definitely that nod there, but right now, is it too slow?
Yeah, the important thing is it's not the Shadow Step that Berserk G needed. It's not the preparation that Berserk G needed. It's not even a Tar Creeper, which would have been better, I think, in this situation. Malagos is going to be able to deal a lot of damage next turn.
Yeah, that's going to be a big problem. He managed to waste some damage there by actually killing minions. I say waste like that because obviously it was the right thing to do, but he is still threatening an awful lot of damage. And one of the best responses there is to Doomsayer against most decks, if you're a hunter, is just Eaglehorn Bow, press the button, hardly wasting a step. You can play the Grandmother here.
Yeah, Berserk's playing very defensively, and you're right, it does set up for that Death Rattle to go off. Malagos considering the Leroy Jenkins for just a second there. He hovered over the card and smiled. I can't help but wonder, it would get rid of the 1/1s.
Yeah, that's definitely a point. Lots of choices here. Eagle Horn Bow, Hero Power, or Eagle Horn Bow, Grandmother, both options here.
Yeah.
The Grandmother representing one more than the button press by generating that 3/2.
Yep.
But the button press is guaranteed.
I think he'll go with the Grandmother, though I've got to say, I'm not sure. There's not much in it, and obviously the button press, as you say, it's guaranteed. It gets past taunts.
Well, 3 button presses plus a kill command is lethal. So if you think you've got 3 turns to live, which you might not have, then you can definitely go with that. The Grandmother, on the other hand, does develop, but you may want to keep the Grandmother in your hand so you've got something to activate the kill command later.
Yeah.
But no, he's going to go with this and trust that he does get the Unleash kill command at some point.
Okay. And now it is go time for Berserk G. Deckhand's going to come down, completing the quest. He can activate it. The only thing Berserk G cannot do is play anything else in his hand.
The only thing he cannot do is anything.
Is anything, yeah. Mimic Pod will be great next turn. Biofin Tidehunter, as you said, will be great next turn. But in the meantime, Berserk G just has to kind of hope he's not dead. And he's not dead just yet.
He's not. And actually, this Leroy is going to get scuppered by the Tidehunter. The 1 point damage face is very relevant. Obviously, doing chunks of 5s, getting your opponent down to 20 is an important thing to do.
Oh, Crackling Razormaw is a big draw. He used up the one earlier, but now this one's here. It can be used on the Hounds later on to get rid of a taunt that's in the way, maybe. To add poisonous to a Hound, I mean.
Yeah, it also guarantees you've got that minion for the kill command. So 5 damage from hand puts your opponent to 8. Kill command puts them to effectively 3. You can't play the Hounds and the kill command now, but what you can do is play the Hounds, hit your opponent for 1 in the face. I think that's what we do. So you play Unleash the Hounds, you hit your opponent for 1.
You unleash the Hound.
Yeah, unleash the dog. Hit them for 6 total, put them down to 7. The next turn you've got Razormaw, kill command, hero power for exactly 7 for lethal, even if your opponent plays taunts, and you say, kill me now. This extra point of damage is very relevant.
Yeah, it looks like Malygos has seen it. There was a lot of laughing for a second there. He's looking incredibly confident as he just runs all of this by his teammates one last time. Down comes the Hound. Hero power, gonna, as you said, put Berserk G down to 7. What have you got, Berserk G? Do you have any Voodoo Doctors? That's the question.
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing. Voodoo Doctor, a card that was definitely played for a while.
Yeah.
Back in the dawn of time, late May.
That's going to be 15 damage in total, 16 with the weapon too, leaving Malygos safe on 5 health.
Yep, and it's going to pay off. His turn's going to pay off for him, and Taiwan are going to get this done 3-0. Excuse me, as my voice goes somewhere into the stratosphere. But I feel a bit sorry for Turkey. They've been one of the revelations of this tournament, even though they're going to finish 2 and 3. We will definitely see more of them in HCT events and in global games in the future, I believe.
Yeah, they've definitely fought very hard to get here. A 2-2 score, a 2-3 score, I guess, in the end, isn't anything to laugh at. It's they've done their country proud, but it is Malygos and Taiwan that are going to be victorious this time around.
Yeah, Malygos hitting people for an extra 5 this turn. It's going to work out nicely for them. Taiwan slipped under the radar a little bit from this side of things, but obviously Rob and Core have had quite a lot to do with them, I think.
Yeah.
And there we go. Set up the lethal last turn with the 1 point Unleash the Hound. It doesn't have to be a massive thing. You just have to count numbers.
Yeah.
And there they go, 3-0. Bosh, bosh, bosh. Job done in probably half an hour.
Yeah, that was the quickest series I think we've had recently in the Hearthstone Global Games, at least. Malygos looking very happy there. This is the first time I've had the pleasure of casting these guys, and wow, that was a fast series. A lot of power behind that team. I'm looking forward to seeing what they come up with in stage 2 of the competition.
Another APAC team going through.
All right, APAC Dad.
APAC Dad. So, yeah, let's have a look at how the tail of the tape went for there. It's going to be a pretty short tail. Bosch with Shaman, Bosch with Warrior, Bosch with Hunter.
Bish, bash, Bosch. Oh, Bosch, Bosch, Bosch. As
Yeah, I wasn't very imaginative on the Bosch. Off we went with that. All the way through, aggressive all the way, and that was the lineup they thought would get it done today, and it did indeed.
Yeah, just blisteringly fast. Hunter making its appearance, its first appearance today, possibly one of its only appearances this week, and getting the win. Can't complain about that. Quest Rogue on the other side of things, not getting the win.
Okay.
We're going to have a quick chat with Ping Ping Ho and see how he's doing. Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Congratulations on your win and for getting through to stage 2 of the Hearthstone Global Games. How are you guys feeling in Team Taiwan? What was going through your head as you played through that series?
Well, we are actually I'm actually very nervous because this match will determine whether we go through the matches. And when we saw opponents keep many cards in their hands, and we were thinking that is their hand really that good?
Yeah.
And we are actually kind of nervous because, yeah.
You're a very experienced team. Yourself been around forever. Already won the Japan Major this year. How are you finding just keeping it going year after year? How do you do it?
I guess with a lot of practice, and having some good players to practice with,
yeah,
like Tom 6029, Roger, and maybe Medical's TW. Yeah.
So do you guys practice together a lot throughout the weeks? How has your teamwork developed as we've gone through this competition?
Actually, we split out our works. We split out for each player. We split out we assign each player several decks to test and to choose which deck is the best one to bring. And so yeah, I think it's a very good method.
Great. Well, it was great talking to you. Congratulations one more time. We'll see you in stage 2 of the competition. Go and enjoy your win.
Yeah. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Take care.
Wow, great talking to Ping Ping Ho.
Yeah, it's been a good year for him already. What I was trying to get out there was, he's just been around forever, just keeps the wins coming year after year. And same with Tom as well. He's been around since the dawn of time, and he is also just winning stuff all of the time.
Yeah. I don't even know what to say about this. It just happened so fast. Tom not getting to win anything today because his teammates did all the work for him, though that's not entirely fair. I've just cut myself short there, as all of the guys will have been playing all of the games there. You could see the guys talking very actively with their teammates throughout. You can see Roger right there talking to his team as he got the win and being rightfully very happy about it.
Very energetic team all the way from top to bottom. Notice here, all three of these guys, again, another team admitting they were very nervous today, but all three of these guys happy all the way through their games. And why wouldn't you be when you're just destroying people?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that they're nervous. It's a big part in the composition. Right. Again, Sottle moans at me when I say this, quite rightfully so. These games aren't more important than the ones that were played first.
Right.
But they feel more important.
Well, they're more important at the time because you know what's on the line at the time.
When you lose game 1, you're sort of like, well, it's okay. We've still got several games to redeem ourselves. If they lose this, they don't have any games to redeem themselves.
But he's right to moan at you. They are all equally important. It just feels that way.
He is right. Sottle's usually right to moan at me. Good. Let's take a look at Group G. One last time. Not the last time today, though, as I don't think this has been updated.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, it has.
Taiwan's got their win on there. Next term, later today, we are going to have that Poland match.
Poland versus Singapore to decide the final team going to be qualifying in Group G.
Yeah, and Taiwan, they're guaranteed at least second place with that win as well. You can see that nobody can catch them on their game record, and that will help them in their seeding. And the seeding is something I'll talk about a bit more later, but it is important to get in those top seeds because the standard of competition is surprisingly high. I think almost all of the top teams have gone through.
Right, well, we're going to cut to a very short break now, but don't go anywhere because we've got another game coming up where the winning team is 100% guaranteed to qualify. And this is where it gets interesting with some other teams as well. We've referenced it earlier. We'll come back to it in a moment. It's going to be Russia versus New Zealand after this short break.
We're almost there. Quiet down, everyone. This is not like any of our previous expeditions. This will be far more ambitious. We're stepping into a land of primordial wonder. Infused with astonishing elemental energies. The plant life here holds very unusual properties. So don't touch anything. And while you may be excited to see the local fauna, you might want to make sure they don't see you. Because their powers of adaptation are devastating. Make no mistake, we will be tested at every turn. But if we stay on our guard, we might just survive. Now then, are you ready? Then let's journey into Ongoro Crater